Hello, good evening and welcome to my railway, Bedstead Junction. Tonight we're having a look at a tank engine which we can see going round the layout. Now this is another locomotive that I bought second hand during the lockdown, and as a matter of fact I'm not sure you can actually get these new now, certainly not this particular type. Um, it's made by a company called Mainline, which ceased production of model railway locomotives in around about to 1984. That's right, 1984. Now this evening it's pulling two passenger coaches, which is something it did during a lot of its duties, but its main purpose was to hold very heavy coal loads from the coal mines down to the ports and main railway junctions, so that the coal could be transported. And they were used in South Wales, in the coalfields of South Wales. Now, as a matter of fact, they came about because of the grouping of all the big railway, all the companies. In fact, there were lots of small independent railway companies up until 1923, but then when 1923 came around, all the locomotive companies were put together into four companies. They were called the Big Four. That was and one of them was the Great Western, which absorbed a lot of the independent railways in Wales, and this happened in 1923. Now, when the GWR had a chance to have a look at the locomotives, they found that a lot of the locomotives being used in the Welsh coalfields were not in the best of condition and really needed to be replaced. And so these locomotives were designed especially for that particular purpose. Now this particular type of locomotive was already, the wheel arrangement was already preferred for use on the Welsh railway lines, really because they were suited to the very windy track and the hills which were found there. And this is what they call a 6600 class. There were two. There was a 5600, a 6600 class GWR 062 tank locomotives. Now the idea behind these was that they would go up through the valleys with the chimney first, and then come back down bunker first. The idea being that the trailing set of wheels will then be at the going down the hill, sort of leading, and will enable them to go around all the corners on the downhill stretches. And these were all built in Swindon, and they were using the standard number 2 boiler and as many standard Great Western Railway parts as possible. And several new parts were developed for the class. The first of the class were built in 1924, and a total of 200 were built in the years up to 1928. The first 150 being built at Swindon, the last 50 being built at Armstrong Whitworth. And they were built at a rate of 5 engines a week. The class were popular with their crews, and soon established a reputation for their power, acceleration and speed capabilities, and they find regular use on both passenger and freight work. So that's use on passengers and freight. And although they were designed for the heavy coal trains from the collieries to the docks, they were also used in other areas, particularly Bristol, Swindon and Wolverhampton divisions, and were later found on both the London and Worcester areas. The major portion of this class of locomotive, though, remained in the Welsh valleys until withdrawal from service, the final one being 5605, which was finally withdrawn in 1966. Now what we'll be looking at, so this one is actually in the Great Western livery. This will be the livery it would have carried before the Great Western Railway and all the British Rail was nationalised in 1948. There are several of these locomotives preserved, and 6697, which I think is the one we're looking at now, is actually preserved at the Railway Museum at Didcot. That's somewhere where I've been past on countless occasions on the train and never had a chance to go, so that's one on my little list of places I'd like to see. Now what we're going to do, we're going to have a little look at her in just a moment. Now one thing you'll probably observe is that this one is a little bit noisier than some of my newer locomotives, but you need to bear in mind this would have been produced before 1984, and so it's getting on for 40 years old now. And I had to take this one completely to pieces in order to get it to run properly. I needed to take the motor totally to pieces. In fact, you can do that on these. Now we'll take her just forward a little bit. Just a moment. There we are. Now you can clearly see the 062 wheel arrangement, that there are no leading wheels, 6 driving wheels and 2 trailing wheels. You can see it's got the usual copper cap chimney, safety valve cover and whistle, so that's all nicely done on this particular one. You can see that it's in the GWR Great Western livery. So it's a very, very attractive looking locomotive. And like we said before, in the Welsh valleys, they would go up the hill in this direction and then go back down towards the sea in the opposite direction. Okay. Now obviously there's not much, if anything, left of the South Wales coalfields now, and in fact there is an attraction called the Big Pit, which is in South Wales, which I believe to be free entry. I've been there and it's a place worth visiting. It gives you an idea about the kind of work that the miners had to do in order to extract the coal, and you can in fact even to this day be taken down by ex-miners, and you will be taken down to a depth of 300 feet, so that's well worth a visit. You get to wear a proper miner's lamp, and then there's lots of other interesting things to see at the Big Pit, so look that one up if you can and visit that if you can, the Big Pit. Now we're going to bring it around a little bit more now. You can see since I've actually taken this to pieces, it does run really well. It was running in quite a jerky fashion before I took the motor to pieces and cleaned everything up and rebuilt it. Bring her in now. That's what it would have looked like from above. So if you can imagine the miners extracting the coal in the South Wales coalfields. They would have had to work a really hard physical labour to extract that coal, and then obviously then the engineman, the driver and the fireman on such an engine as this would have been working very hard also in order to get performance from these locomotives in order to carry out their duties of transporting the coal. Like we say, we see this one on the passenger duties because they were used on passenger duties as well. and you can see these in preservation running. And the coaches which it's pulling are what they call Collett class coaches. They're designed by Charles Benjamin Collett, and so was the locomotive designed by Charles Benjamin Collett. He became the chief mechanical engineer of the Great Western Railway in 1923. Now we're going to have a quick glimpse at another locomotive in just a moment, just quickly, and we can take you through some other developments of locomotives. Now, just have a quick look at the station and what's in the station. And then there tonight is my new locomotive, which I keep featuring, because I just can't help bring this one out onto layout. That's a Hornby Star class, one that's nearest to us. And then just beyond this locomotive is St David. Obviously I thought that would maintain the Welsh connection for tonight. St David, a Saint class of locomotive. This one was designed by Churchward, which was the predecessor to Collett. So St David there. Also that's a Hornby locomotive. And this model would have been produced by Hornby in the mid-1980s. So we have a chance to see two locomotives, one going round there, which was used extensively on the Welsh coalfields. Then obviously this one named St David, which is the patron saint of Wales. Now what we're going to do, we're going to bring our tank engine into the station. See if we can. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to change the point. So just do that now. Changing the point. You can see me doing that now. There we go. Then we'll just check the point. Leads into one of the stations. I'll try and go into this one. There we are, so that's in my branch line station. And just for tonight, just going to have a quick look at the magnificent Saint class St David there. You can see that's also in Great Western green. That one actually says Great Western down the back of its tender. So again, we just need to change the points. So that's back to the main line. And then we'll be changing the points there for the siding. Now, sorry about this, I think St David's going to need a bit of assistance there. Well, there we go. Sorry about that. The track which St David is running over there isn't quite the best. It does need replacing, which I'll be doing in due course. I'm just going to be ordering some more track. or maybe I'll replace the joint in the track. So sorry about that. Just needed the helping hand to get it going. Now we'll just have a look now. We can see the Saints class, St David, going around the tracks now. And that's a twin cylinder engine, and what they call a 460, so it's got 4 leading wheels, 6 driving wheels, no trailing wheels under the cab, and you can see that quite clearly. St David. See, we're looking at there we are, and that's the name, St David. What a lovely locomotive. And that's 2920. The last of these were sadly scrapped in around about 1953, but these were originally built in the early 1900s, designed by George Jackson Churchward, and by the time this one was withdrawn from service, it had covered over 2 million miles. So there we are. And sadly, I don't think any of these were actually preserved. Yeah. Okay, so sorry that St David needed a little helping hand out of the siding there, but you can see that particular line there, the track isn't the best, and I don't think it was picking up the electricity very well, so I will need to get that replaced. You can see it's all loose there, but we'll get back to this one. As you can see, it's a very, very good runner, as all of my Hornby locomotives are. And what I will do now, so as this railway is running to 18 minutes, I will bid you farewell from Bedstead Junction. If you like what you see, press like, and if you want to see more videos, then please subscribe. And also, my channel is called Paul Cherry Trains, so it's all three separate words: Paul Cherry and Trains. Okay, so once again, thanks very much for watching, and good night, and I will see you soon with another video. Thank you very much.